You're weird, kitty. All right, guys. So, stream's going to be ending soon. So I just wanted to say thanks everyone for being here. Thanks everyone for supporting the stream. Uh, Also, if you got like Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime, throwing it over here is not a bad idea, you know? It helps Splinterlands as a whole. Heals up next. Oh, we got someone up next. First down. Yep. Thanks everyone for being here again. And I mean, I still got like Neil Mix next. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to have like anyone after. Ugh. Yeah. What's up, Neil? How's it going? This is the first time I think I've talked. I'm assuming second wave, or did you just like change time? I say because Neil, I don't even look. Well, thank you. You know, if there's one thing I do, it's I put out good content. I definitely, but we try to have fun, and you know, having fun's very important. It's what makes the world go round. Actually, it's gravity. Fun. Also, there was a thing back up and talking about. I like Luke's question with 42. First time I got the question. Oh yeah, there was definitely a few. There was several questions. All right, guys. I'm gonna stick around for. Oh no, I can't. I'll be back in a little bit to watch Neil, but you guys should definitely stay here. Don't touch that dial. That's old TV reference. Of that touch that dial.
And I am live, apparently. I got caught up watching
as well.
the previous stream, so there's a little bit of delay here. I am live, apparently. Okay. So, welcome everybody. This is the Monster Maverick Show, and I have. I'm here. I'm talking. Can you hear me? First time chat from viewer Samsonite. Just want to make sure my audio is coming through. I think it is. I'm trying to do this without echoing myself. Sounds good. Okay. Fantastic. So, this is the Monster Maverick Show. Welcome, everybody. I am going to spam my stream here in a couple Discord servers just for good measure. But this is the channel where we talk about, or the stream, I guess, the stream where we talk about Splinterlands, not so much the gameplay, not going to be doing battles or anything like that. This is about kind of the investment side of Splinterlands and how that all works. You know, what is going on in the ecosystem, prices of things, cards, tokens, lands, all that kind of stuff. What do we expect for the future? So, obviously, it's been a while since I've been on stream. Last time I was on stream, Splinterlands TV did not exist. So, it's been basically basically a year since I was on the last time. And for those of you who are OGs and remember the previous Monster Maverick show, it was on the PalNet Discord. and I think we streamed on Vim and a couple other places, but basically it was all just, you know, random Discord channel that had nothing to do with Splinterlands, and there were all of 6 people that watched it. Um, so, you know, it was different. It was a different time. Splinterlands was still pre SPS at that point. Hadn't experienced this explosive growth. So I imagine we have tons and tons of new people who are, on either watching these things on YouTube or on the stream or whatever. So to give you an idea, a little bit about me and why you might even want to listen to what I have to say about about Splinterlands stuff is, I am a day one OG when it comes to Splinterlands. I've been around since the beginning, since literally the very first day. Over the years, yeah, so biggest SPL whale, that is true as well. So over the years, I have amassed quite a collection of Splinterland stuff. When they talk about diamond hands, there's a picture of me, in the dictionary next to the definition. Um, I have every edition. I've got at least one of every card. Not necessarily gold foil, but I have at least one of every card. Um, and Rondon talked me into buying a Prince Julian on stream one time. That was, sometimes I make strange decisions when I'm on stream. But yeah, so I'm not as active as I used to be in the Discord just because I'm busy. I have an actual business that I have to run. I do taxes for a living and tax strategy. But I have a number of Splinterlands projects. I still won't give it to you. That's right, Ron. I have a number of Splinterlands projects that are both existing and in development. So me, along with my partner Gerber, we run X Chaos. So that was a purchasing pool for the Chaos Legion launch, where you buy the X Chaos token, and then you get, you get the actual pack when they were distributed on the launch day, and then 2, we take all the airdrops that we get, both in SPS airdrops and in card airdrops. When we hit those million pack milestones, and we get a new legendary monster or summoner, we sell those into the market, and we take the DEC from all that and distribute to all X Chaos holders. So that is project number 1. I didn't hear the theme song. That is true, and I have it queued up. But I just wanted to get through this first, because I also wanted to give people a couple minutes to come into the stream and hang out. So that's project number 1. Project number 2, if you're watching on stream, you can see down here the Venari Syndicate. That is our rental fund. So this is my project with Vedev. Many of you know him from the Discord and everywhere else you hear about Splinterland stuff. This is actually an actual investment security type deal. It's for accredited investors only, and basically, we take all of our knowledge about renting cards in the Splinterlands ecosystem and putting that capital to work to do that. And it's fairly new, but we've already seen a lot of early success with it. So, it's interesting how, as an investment manager, my view has kind of shifted a bit, because now I'm responsible for other people's money, and it's like, well, how much do we want to put in? How fast do we want to put it in? What cards do we want to buy? We're doing a lot of research on rental rates, because what has happened over the past few years is that my own collection has just been like, buy everything. That's kind of how it's developed. So it's not optimized for rentals. Even though I've been a big proponent of rentals overall, it has not been, percentage-wise as great as it could be if you went in knowing what I know now and then buying the things that are great. So, relatively. Samsonite is Venev. Okay, I didn't even know that. And has shown interest from non-crypto investors getting access to opportunities like SBL. That's true. So, in fact, I just got off a call with a client. He's a New York finance guy, and we're talking about crypto. And it's like, oh yeah, and we have this other fund where we invest in crypto gaming. And it's like, oh, never heard of that. So we have like some real estate people and some other types of people who are getting into crypto really for the first time. and so they need a bit of a guiding hand, rather than maybe the people in here are probably more experienced in Splinterlands and can rent their own cards. Um, so the reason you might care about Venari Syndicate is not so much to put in your own money, because again, you have to be a U.S. accredited investor. There's K1s, there's a whole thing. But if you have friends who are and want to get in, then we do pay referrals basically. So that might be of interest to you. But that is kind of all I can share publicly at the moment. I do have another project also with Gerber in the works. It is we've been working on it for like a year, but it is still not quite ready for prime time as far as sharing. But just know that there's cool stuff brewing. Um, so with that, I will actually play the theme song. So sit back and relax for 41 seconds. Yes, the theme song is in stereo. That was composed by Izaria, who's the official. I don't know what her title is exactly, but she's the music person for all things Splinterlands. Now we have a show. That's right. And Gip was asking people outside the U.S. Our fund is only for U.S. Investors, or you have to have an ITIN or something, because of tax purposes. So it is only for U.S. accredited at the moment. So yeah, I've been around for a long, long time. I outside of aggro, as far as I know, I'm still the number one whale individual, at least. The official cat person of Splinterlands who happens to make music. Yeah, that sounds good. So I have loads of all the stuff basically. So since SBS has launched a year ago, obviously there have been large guilds coming in like YGG, and they probably have more than me now. I know they have one more region than me, so I was looking at region lists this morning, and that I have made peace with the fact that there will be organizations that have more Splinterland stuff than I do. But as far as individuals, I don't count aggro because he's owns the company, or at least part of it. So so it's a little bit of a different story. But for outside people, I think I'm still number one. Matt Clark occasionally bumps up against my collection because the price of flesh golems goes up a little bit. But I didn't corner any one card market. I just bought a slew of everything. So, where does that put us for now? Like I said, it's been a year since I streamed. Last stream I think I had, my air conditioner broke, for the following stream, so I didn't get on then. And then there was something else, and then I got COVID. And the kind of COVID I got was I was coughing for 3 months straight. I couldn't get on stream, couldn't do anything, could barely function really. And so I just kind of let the show go for a long time. And now we have Splinterlands TV. Rondon's been hassling me. And a few people say I should get back on. So from all the peer pressure, here we go with the Monster Maverick show. So, what is the state of state of Splinterlands? That's kind of the question I wanted to look at this week. And to do that, I looked at it in a couple different ways. So some of you might know that they call me, mixed spreadsheet, because I have spreadsheets, quite a number of them, and we'll be looking at some of those a bit later. But for the moment, I did want to touch on kind of what Splinterlands is. So I was actually having this conversation earlier today with good job, Ron. I was having this conversation earlier today with somebody, and we're talking about the bot issue. Right? Everybody in Discord is arguing about bots, and this is something that goes back all the way to the beginning of Splinterlands. And obviously, we've had the massive user growth over the past year that I think a lot of people don't actually understand what Splinterlands is. So I wanted to get on my soapbox for a minute and discuss that. So the the question about bots is, whether they should be banned or whatever, is fundamentally the wrong question. Because if you understand what Splinterlands is, it's not even a possibility. So if you know Agrod and Yepa, the guys who founded Splinterlands and have grown this thing into just the massive success that it is now, you understand that they are crypto purists. They've both been around in cryptocurrency for years and years, even before Splinterlands was a thing. And then, they are true to the original vision, or what I consider to be the original vision of crypto, in that this is a decentralized, permissionless financial system. So Bitcoin obviously was the original cryptocurrency, at least what we now call cryptocurrencies. There were previous things that had some similar characteristics, but as far as putting the whole package together, Bitcoin was the first. And this is a market that was peer-to-peer. It was transfer of value. It was permissionless. It was decentralized, and all of those are ideals that Splinterlands is built on top of. And Splinterlands, more than just a game, I mean, Agrod has said many times that Splinterlands is its real core objective is to get people into crypto. More than having fun in the game, more than trading cards, more than land expansions and all that kind of stuff. It's to get people into crypto, onboard normies into our wild west world of cryptocurrency. And I think they've been doing a decent job at that. There's a gaming app in the Google App Store, and there's an app in the Google Play Store. So people are signing up, and along with that decentralization and that permissionlessness comes blockchain data or data. So people submit a transaction on the Hive blockchain with specifically formatted, JSONs, and that plays the game. So there are front ends. There's Splitterlands.com. There was somebody made a tool where I can't remember the name of it, where you could input your lineup and it gives you like a probability. I paid the guy for a subscription. I can't remember the name, but anybody can make a front end for Splinterlands. No, not many people have, because there's not a whole lot of incentive to do it if you're not Splinterlands itself. But it is certainly possible to do. And with that decentralized permissionlessness, it voids the entire possibility that Splinter tools. There you go. It avoids the entire possibility of banning anybody. You could ban somebody from a front end, just like on Hive you can ban somebody from posting on leofinance.io, for example, but you cannot ban somebody from submitting a transaction on the blockchain. And because Splinterlands is built on NFTs that we own, that we all the people who own stuff in Splinterlands, those assets are not under the control of Splinterlands unless you've staked them into the game in some fashion. So if you hold your assets outside, then they're yours to do with what you wish. You can send them to somebody, you can gift, you can loan, you can buy, you can sell, you can burn, you can just throw them in the trash if you wanted to. So all of those features necessitate the inability to block anybody, and that's just how it is. That's crypto ethos in a nutshell. So the people who were talking about, we need to implement KYC, and we need to, ban bots and all those kind of things, it's just not even the right conversation to have, because that's just not on the table. So I think the right questions are that Yada has stated all along, for years, that the goal of design is to make it so that bots don't have an advantage over human players. And I think that is, that's a fair question. How do we do that? I know Gank is constantly in the Mavericks chat talking about this bot network or that bot network. One is forfeiting against the other, but he's made those complaints against Byzantinus as well, as far as human player doing that to manipulate rankings and pulling DEC rewards and tournament placings and leaderboards and all that kind of stuff. Those are all fair game. As far as how should we implement design changes to make a level playing field. So, I think it's just important to have that context when you're talking about anything related to Splinterlands, and so that you don't get frustrated and disappointed with, the lack of movement, I guess, on on the bot issue, so called. The ECR was a development, the collection power was a development, the rewards changes. These are all elements to incentivize people to play on a level playing field. So, I think we're supposed to be getting a upgrade or update to the rewards design here shortly. So there's going to be another change to the incentivized behavior, and whether that works out in the long run, obviously I hope it will. Each change that we've seen has been positive, but nothing's perfect, right? There is no utopia, so it's just important to temper your expectations, I think. So overall, I don't see the bots as big a problem as other people do. I do think if you listen to my old streams, you'll see some of my ideas about ways we could change things in order to make everything, I think, more level. But we're doing well overall. So just to give you an idea of how well we're doing overall, let's look at the marketplace. So this is Peak Monsters, currently my favorite, for a long time, my favorite marketplace to use on all things Splinterlands, and especially if you're doing rentals or anything like that. Or Peak Monsters is the tool to use. You want a Neil bot. I actually had Gerber design a bot way back when, and this was like several iterations ago. And what we designed was actually a bot that worked on heuristics rather than copy pastes. So it was like, okay, based on this rule set, you want to prioritize this kind of thing as opposed to that kind of thing. So like, if it's I don't know, pick a rule set, noxious fumes, right? You want to prioritize health and healing over other cards. So and it worked. And the only advantage the bot had over anybody else was that it could play regularly. So it played, once an hour or once every 30 minutes or something, but, always. And, I think in some leagues they did place somewhat okay for leaderboard, but otherwise it was just another player. And, nobody was aware that they were, bots that were playing against them, because they played like people. It's just rule set, mana, prioritize this kind of thing over that, and go from there. And one of the updates along the way broke it, and we just never bothered to update it. But I think that kind of bot is perfectly fine, and functionally no different than a human player or a stable of human players playing the same account. In my day job business, I have a lot of Filipinos who work for me, and the outsourced labor that is available in the Philippines, you could have somebody working around the clock. I've got my admin; she works U.S. hours, so I'm on the East Coast, so she works Eastern U.S. hours, and she's up throughout their night basically. So and I have other people who work daytime hours in the Philippines, and have overlap in what is my morning and their night. So it's a bot that plays twice an hour or once an hour, but 24 hours is literally not any different than an account that is played by 2 or 3 people elsewhere in the world, and just rotating through it. The question is, are they match fixing? Are they, manipulating the system in some way? And like I said, those are all fair questions, and those should be addressed. But just to for everybody who's worried about that the sky is falling because of whatever their pet issue is, I'm here to tell you it's not. The game is doing well. SPS is down from November. That is true, and we're going to get into a little bit of charting as to why that might be. But we're doing okay. So here's Peak Monsters up on the screen, and they have this line right here, and this is available on a lot of their screens. So total value is 216 million using best listed prices, 115 million using bids prices, and 133 million using market prices. And so what I did was I went through the different editions this morning, and so like alpha, beta, promo, rewards, and I added up all those numbers. And then I went through and I looked at all the various tokens that are in the ecosystem, because we have alpha packs, we have beta packs, we have orbs, we have Untamed, we have dice, we have what else do we have? I'll just show you the list. How about that? We have, if I can get my hotkeys correct. Nope, that's just my big head. That one. So we have all these things. Untamed, SL dice, chaos, plots, tracks, regions, common totems, rare totems, epic totems, legendary totems, DEC, SPS, vouchers. And the total of all that, let me scroll over here, is a little over $250 million in market cap. And that was using the bids prices on cards, because that's the most conservative version of pricing that you can get, because somebody's actively placing a bid for that whatever card at some price. So 250 million, of which a good chunk is SPS. This chunk right here is SPS, and that is 29% of the total. DEC is tiny, because it's got a lot of them, but the market price is designed to revert to 1,000 splintoshis, as we used to call them, 0.001 US dollars, and so that only has a market cap of about 3.7 million. But the cards themselves, and these are open cards, because these ones down here are the packs. Open cards is 100. Well, as of this morning, it's changed a little bit. 116,705,000. Please update your Excel and Office. So, funny story. This is Microsoft Office 2007, because that was the last one I got for free. On my work desktop, it's I actually had to upgrade to Office 365, because people started sending me spreadsheets and things that I couldn't open. They kept throwing errors. So I did bite the bullet and upgrade. Perhaps I will upgrade them on my personal system here as well. I think I get a couple licenses with that. I don't know. Whatever it is, I'm paying $9 a month for the apps. I didn't need all the team meetings and stuff kind of with Microsoft. So yeah, I will upgrade at some point. But it all works the same pretty much. I mean, there's a couple functions I don't have in 2007 that are in the newer versions, but it's all the same. Sum if is one of the things I don't have, but you can do that with just a couple functions put together. So, so 250 million total market cap, round numbers, and 116 of that is open cards. Another, let's say 75 is in currency tokens, SPS and DEC, and then we've got pack tokens, which adds up to 17 million, and Libra Office respects freedom. Libra is just now, and land stuff is 41 million. So and those are the lands and the totems. Those are all at last traded prices, which a lot of them are very illiquid. So like the last traded price on a region was 200 and something thousand, which was way down from previous ones. So I just this is something I'm going to be updating week to week, just to have an idea of ecosystem growth. And it's also interesting to look at this and see what is actually possible in crypto. So when Splinterlands started taking off, and also when Leo Finance was pumping, DeFi summer, 9 months ago, something like that. I was having arguments on Twitter with Hive people. May as well just use Python. If I knew how to code, I would. So I just my coding skills are just not quite up to par, and also I just don't have time. So, you know, what's the computer programmers take 3 months to automate what could have been done in 5 minutes, but then it's forever, right? So I don't have that 3 months to put into it. I'm a pretty busy guy. That's what I have Gerber for. Gerber's hard to get motivated because he's made too much money over the years, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to. but that is a personal challenge that I have with getting him to do stuff. I got him to do X Chaos, which is great, but that was largely because he had similar kinds of code off the shelf already built for D City and things. Uh, but yeah, so land's very illiquid, so the market price is maybe not that great, but it's only less than a fifth of the total. So you know, so I was having these discussions with people mostly on Twitter, which is ironic considering I'm supposed to be a social media platform, but saying that no derivative uh, entity can be worth more than the parent. And what they were talking about was that so Hive has a market cap, and Borderlands has its own market cap, and Legal Finance has its own market cap, and the Hive maximalists, for lack of a better term, were saying that there's no way that Splinterlands will ever be worth more than Hive, or Legal Finance will be worth more than Hive. And it's like, well, I'm kind of gotta differ. I don't think one is necessarily related to the other. One, because they serve different functions, right? So Hive is you need Hive power in order to transact on the blockchain. Splinterlands uses a ton of Hive power to create accounts and to delegate to players so that they can submit transactions for battles and such. And it also burns a ton of Hive in order to create new accounts. So they're just different things, and the market cap of one is not necessarily related to the market cap of the other, at least in my opinion. So when I go to, if I get my hotkey right, is that, there we go. Getting used to all this newfangled technology with pressing buttons and having the screen change. I go to CoinMarketCap here, and I search for Hive, and it's way down the list. Hopefully that'll be changing soon with some of the stuff. If you guys watch me on the Leo Finance AMAs, it's also on Tuesdays in the night mode, please. All right, come on, there he goes. Oh, one too many times. So if you guys watch the Leo Finance AMAs that I'm also on with Cal, who is the guy who runs Leo Finance, and Scaredy Cat. We are the moderators, and we kind of bounce things off of Cal, and he does all the answering. Well, we were talking about HBD this morning and how we're going to create a pool on Polygon in order to incentivize liquidity there. So that could actually generate some market pressure for Hive, which would be nice. But right now, fully diluted market cap is 364. Oh, it's the same as the market cap, 364 million. So 364 million versus the 250 million that is currently in Splinterlands. So I don't think it's a stretch for a situation to occur if we get a little bit of pump in SPS to eat up all of that difference in market cap. And I have not tracked this number over time, so it's entirely possible that when the SPS was $1, several months ago in November, then the market cap of Splinterlands was greater than the market cap of Hive. So it's all relative, I guess is the point here. Thoughts on the 20% API on HBD? I am a fan. I think that is a great incentive for people to buy and stake HBD. The problem with HBD is that currently it's not attractive because of the entry and exit criteria. So is it sustainable? Yeah, it's plenty sustainable. I think that part's fine. Um, so I do a lot of stablecoin DeFi. Why not 40% or 100? I mean, at a point it becomes unsustainable, but it depends. So I'm a stablecoin DeFi guy. I have a lot of money in stablecoins, and I farm where it's attractive, and I hop around from place to place. Currently, I just put a chunk on Terra on UST that also pays 20%. But the reason I can do that and not HBD is because UST has liquidity, right? And even if it doesn't have liquidity, it has instant conversions. So HBD doesn't have either one of those. So the conversions, the 3.5 day conversion window is absolute insanity to me. it's just, it's just like I understand there was some historical reason for doing it that way, whatever. Um, in the current environment, why if I'm a stablecoin DeFi investor, then I'm interested in it for its stability, right? I want to buy, I want to take $1 and I want to convert it into one USDC or one USDT or one BUSD or one UST or whatever, but just one. And I don't want to have market risk with it. That's the entire purpose of stablecoins. So if my way to get HBD is to buy Hive, convert it over a 3.5 day window, and then take the median price in that window and convert that number to HBD, then it's like, well, why would I do that? Because I'm taking market risk in that time period. Because maybe Hive rises during that time, or maybe Hive falls during that time, and there's a 5% conversion fee, which I was looking at earlier today. So there is no scenario in which I would take that market risk and pay 5% essentially slippage in order to convert Hive into HBD. So that is just automatically right out of contention. And then on the flip side, you don't pay the 5%, but you do have the 3.5 day conversion, and then you have to take your Hive and sell it somewhere. And Hive liquidity is not great, so if you're doing significant chunks, then you're going to have additional slippage there. So nobody converts these days. That's true because it's not attractive. so uh, so the other side is liquidity, right? So if there was enough liquidity in the marketplace, there's roughly 9 million HBD out there. That's enough for a decent chunk of people to buy and sell, but it's not on markets, right? So it's not on the internal market in Hive. It's not on the exchanges. As somebody was saying on Leo Finance earlier, there was like 50,000 on Upbit. Bittrex, still in their lawsuit with Hive. Wallets go down all the time. There's risk of being trapped there. So it's just impossible to buy. So if I want to move $100,000-$200,000 into HBD, I simply cannot do it. I could put in a bid on the internal market and wait a month, and maybe it'll fill. But that's not, again, it's compared to what, right? So I can go to any other stablecoin ecosystem and do instant transactions. So there's no reason that I would take all that risk in order to get 20% on HBD when I can get 20% on UST, which is essentially the same functionality. It has conversions with Luna, but it's instant instead of the 3.5 day thing. And there's also no 5% slippage. So it's a great step in the right direction, but liquidity has to be solved in order for that to be attractive, or in order for it to work, let's say. So yeah, Bittrex. if you want some fun history, so Bittrex was the main U.S. Exchange that was for all things Steem, which was the predecessor to Hive. So then Justin Sun comes in. He buys Steemit Inc., which was the main developer of the Steem blockchain, and here's a whole lot of stuff went down, and basically, so Justin Sun and his group at Steemit Inc. seized funds from a lot of Steem whales who were then splitting off and creating Hive. So that was, not nice. And somebody on the inside there took those seized funds and sent them to Bittrex, for kind of like, here's a hot potato, right? and says, with a message to redistribute them um, to the rightful owners, right? Because these were stolen funds. So basically, Bittrex just got thrown in the middle of this giant, you know, this giant. I'm trying to think of a nice word. This giant conflagration between parties, and the and so there have been lawsuits filed, and Bittrex is a party in those lawsuits, and it's still pending as far as I'm aware. So the the point of all this is Bittrex is not the biggest Hive fan. So wallets go down for maintenance frequently, and so if you have Hive funds on Bittrex, whether it's Hive or HBD, you cannot reliably count on getting them out. So it has not been a very harmonious relationship there. So, and I can totally sympathize with Bitrix's side of things here, is that they did nothing and then just got thrown into this problem that they didn't need. So so yeah, liquidity is a problem. So Leo Finance, one of the things Cal is doing is, so we've got this yield farming platform on Polygon called Polycub, and he wants to create a pool that is between wrapped HBD and USDC, and his goal is to get that pool up to $5 million. If that is successful and there's a deep enough liquidity pool there, then it becomes way more attractive to buy HBD and stake for that 20%, or stake it inside that liquidity pool and earn a Polycub reward of something similar. So that is kind of a long-winded answer to what I think about it. I think it's a great step. It is not sufficient by itself in order for HBD to be successful. If the liquidity challenge is solved, then we have a potential virtuous cycle. In that, so like if you were to stake your HBD inside this liquidity pool, you have you earn rewards, and then you take those rewards and you buy more HBD with it, and then all of that supports both HBD and the price of Hive, because of the people who will do conversions, who are more active in the Hive ecosystem rather than just as a stablecoin investor. So that's all in the works, let's say, and it's I'm optimistic, right? So that could pump Hive quite a bit. It could raise this market cap from 363 million up to something higher, and I'd be all for it. 500 doesn't seem like a lot. Yeah, it is. It's not in the grand scheme of things. So I guess the point of all that was that Splinterlands with its tokens can certainly match and exceed Hive, because they are just different things fundamentally. And so right now we're at 250 versus 360. So whatever that ratio is, 7 to 5, let's say, 140% as Hive compared to Splinterlands, but that could evaporate just by SPS pumping, and that can happen in a very short amount of time. So I was actually looking at the SPS chart earlier, and obviously we're almost right at 10 cents right now. And that is not a great chart, right? But there are explanations. I don't know if you want to call them reasons, but there are explanations. So, we had launch last July. Things spiked up. I think it got as high as like $1.90 or something on the original launch day. Obviously, anytime you've launched with low liquidity, you have huge price fluctuations. Price went up, price came down, grinded higher, came down, and then we had this time here, which was related to Chaos Legion, at least in my opinion, and we've been grinding lower ever since. So, this is part of that sky is falling kind of mantra, that's like, oh, SPS is only 10 cents. Obviously whatever the devs are doing isn't working, et cetera, et cetera. So there's two main, at least in my opinion, two main explanations for this. So one is that if you look at the rest of crypto, so same time frame, if we look at Bitcoin, well, We have a nice high over there in October, November, and it's been, down and sideways ever since. We look at Ethereum. Um, we have a high back in November, went lower, been bouncing about a little bit lately, but overall lower trend. If we look at BNB, same kind of deal. So just overall crypto market sentiment is down from where it was, 6 months ago, and that's just how crypto goes. It's a volatile asset class. Things go up, things go down. Bitcoin dropped what 50%, something like that, and Mighty Cyclone. We're getting to that in just a second. That's going to be factor number two. Don't spoil it. So overall, you're going to have market weakness when the entire asset class is weak. So that is something to take into consideration. Now, the degree of weakness obviously changes, right? Because Bitcoin is not SPS, right? Bitcoin is the most liquid, the most stable thing out there when it comes to cryptocurrency, and SPS is not. SPS is the governance token of a blockchain game. It's the biggest blockchain game, but it's still one game amongst many amongst the entire asset class of crypto. So, we've gone down, instead of 50%, we've gone down 90% in that same time frame. Which, as a SPS holder, it's not the funnest thing in the world. I've got a lot, and I'm taking all my airdrops, and I'm staking more, and I'm taking my earnings from rentals and things, and I'm buying more. So I am optimistic that this will turn around a bit, and I have reasons for that. I have data. So if we go back to the spreadsheet, let's do that one. I got the right one. Oh, apparently that's also a spell check inside inside Excel. So I created this sheet here. I haven't done the charts on it yet, but um, what's important to realize is that there's different phases of SPS's life. So if we go to the original white paper, we have this token distribution, right? So there's all these different categories. There's staking an LP and Oracle incentives. There's play to earn. There's airdrop. Um, there's the foundation share. There's private sale, and then there's the team. So originally they were all going to launch at the same time. Private sale is those early investors who got a sweetheart deal, and they have a 10-month 10-month payout or 10-month vesting of unlocking. So that is actually over now in April. I think it'll be the 27th of April will be the final payout, and those guys have been a major source of selling into the market because they're even at 10 cents they're still up 5x or almost 6x. So it's hard to argue with locking in the gains that way. But that's going to be ending, and then the airdrop's going to be ending in another couple months. That's a big chunk, and a lot of these other things never got deployed when we thought they were when we thought they were going to be, right? So at this point, we do have staking that is live, but that's only a third of the staking LP Oracle incentives, right? So good to see you, Michael. Thanks for dropping by. So the private sales are ending. The airdrop is ending. The staking LP is going to change. The foundation, as far as I know, is operational. I'm not 100% sure about that. Team, I'm assuming, is operational. And play to earn is not functional yet. So what I did with this sheet was I broke up the different categories into what I think they're going to be. So, on this one, I actually didn't start the DAO until the end of the airdrop. So here, private sale ending, in April. Airdrop is going for another 2 months, and then the team is, started at the beginning. Partners and advisors, they got their chunk. That's relatively small. Play to earn is starting at the end of the airdrop. I think the staking LP rewards is jumping up from 4.5 million up to almost 14 million, and then it's gonna at the end it's gonna drop back down because I think the staking rewards will end, and then the other 2/3 will continue for another year. And so what is the monthly total, and how much distribution is that accomplishing? So It's a relatively deflationary schedule. So we are here where we are getting 10% monthly inflation, and then it next month it drops from 10% inflation down to 6.4% inflation. So we're already going to see from the private sale people uh, from that vesting schedule ending, we're going to see a decent drop in the inflation of SPS. So less inflation being sent out to people, that means less selling pressure, and that means that any downward movement is going to be mitigated. Right? It can still go down, but it's going to be down less than it would have been under the old scenario. Or if we see any bidding into SPS, people buying, then it's going to rise that much more because there's that lack of selling pressure. And so we see the over the next year that up through 24 months that the monthly inflation drops month over month, basically 0.3 0.2% every time. And by the end of year two, we're down to 3% monthly inflation. So that's way less than what we had in the beginning, right? So first year we're seeing overall 300% inflation, and in the second year we're going to be seeing. Really should have done this as a chart, but I ran out of time. We're seeing 47% inflation. Is this including SPS Battle Awards? Yes, it is. That is the P to E column. That's play to earn. That is starting when, as far as I understand, it's starting when the airdrop ends. And like Samsonite is saying, first year inflation had very little utility to counterbalance inflation. That is absolutely correct. Because what can you do with SPS now? You could buy well, you got vouchers, so that's something. You could buy a discounted Chaos Legion in the pre-sale. You could buy Wakas, and you could stake it and get more SPS, and that's it, right? But in the second year, we're going to have all this other stuff. We're going to have the staking on players to earn more. The DAO theoretically will become functional at some point in there, and then we'll have actual governance ones, which was the entire point of SPS. So I'm looking forward to that because for those of you who don't know, Lear Deep Swimmer is one of the legendary beta summoners. That was my design, and he's just never lived up to what I wanted him to do in as far as gameplay. So I one of my first SPS proposals is going to be to give him a buff of something. I don't even know what, but just a buff. Um, maybe plus 1 speed. That would be a nice little bump. I got 1 vote for Lyra. That's good. So because one of the ways to rate cards is look at their market values compared to other things of their asset class. So if we go over back to Peak Monsters, go to I gotta reassign my hotkeys because they're like refresh and stuff. If we go to Beta Summoner, come on, Legendaries. My computer is slowing down here. Summoner, Legendary. Okay, let's just look at the regulars. So, what? Where's my Lear? Oh, I'm in the wrong thing. Ah, jeez. I don't even know what I'm doing. It's Untamed, not Beta. Okay, here's Lear. So market cap is not doing that bad compared to Chancius. Is 85 versus 85 basically. But then Mimosa is 100, Scarred Llama Mage 240, Byzantine Kitty 325, Yodin Zaku 333. So you can see that these three are definitely less prized by the market than these three, and because of their functionality in the game, right? So it's going to be. I think these three need something added to be more competitive with these three. And Lear is obviously the lagging one of the bunch. Camila's down there, but she's a totally different thing. She was a launch and not a airdrop one. So in the next year, we're going to get the governance with SPS. We're going to get fingers crossed. We're going to get lands, and that will have probably SPS costs along with for upgrades and things. Lands is going to be huge. I can't even tell you how bullish I am on lands as soon as they're functional and working in the game. If you if you listen to my old streams, I was talking about Christmas 2021 as being like the final being functional in the game, and then SPS happened and everything got pushed back. So now we're looking at Christmas 2022, maybe. So at this point, I'm just resigned to waiting, and time will pass. One of the things I've learned as I've gotten older is time will pass. Um, in my early years, I was like my 20s and things. Thoughts on validator lands? Yeah. So super bullish on land once it actually gets released. I think we see a 10x in that. Uh, I don't know about instantly, but over time, once people realize like, oh, this is a land product, we will need to have uh, you know interoperability with Ethereum restored and working. And if those two conditions are met, I think land sees a 10x. Maybe more. People love land just in general, and having a land that actually produces something, um, in the game that is useful, items and spells and the whole ecosystem of developing the land plots and getting resources and trading those resources and traveling from one plot to another. I mean, it's all just amazing, amazing stuff. So I think that'll be huge. SPS validators, I I am optimistic. I know Yaba has talked about the Gala model, and Gala has done really well with its nodes. Um, so I'll be buying nodes. I don't know if it's going to be limit one or whatever, and we'll be running whatever validation software is required. Um, but that's a fairly technical thing, and the thing you have to remember about all things talked about is that nothing counts until it's written in a post. Poor people that are selling their regions, yeah, they're gonna be kicking themselves, I think. When the one sold for 750,000, I was, even at the time I was like, that's not enough. I wouldn't sell mine. I've got two, and I I wouldn't sell mine for anything less than 1 million, maybe even more. Um, just because I'm that bullish on land as a whole. So, it's an interesting time. This I think this chart of SPS is the real differentiator between people who have the vision of what Splinterlands is going to become and what the general crypto market is going to become, and people who are just in this short term grind. Um, the people, even from the very beginning of Splinterlands, there's been this dichotomy between the people who are trying to trying to go for the quick flip. Whether it was alpha packs, packs were released before there was a game, and people were buying and selling packs and opening them and buying and selling cards. And there was one guy, Thomas G. He must have sold me, I don't know how many packs, thousands, right? Because I have a significant percentage of alpha cards, um, and he he never kept anything. He just bought and flipped and sold, and as from what I understand, he made a profit, but nothing close to what he could have made. And maybe he's done well in other things. I don't know. I haven't talked to the guy since those early days, but you know, by hitching your wagon to things that then work out, you'll make, at least in my experience, you'll make way more than you will going for the short term profits. As far as how much for the Prince Julian, I think I spent 500,000 DEC on that, something like that, back in the when I purchased it, and at the time I think that was like $300. I want to say, um, and now I don't even know what it goes for, but a lot. Let's see, Prince Julian. Julian's going for 1,500. Oh, that's per BCX. It's 3,200 if you actually want to buy one. And of course, there's only one on the market, so that's all right. Nothing less than 15K. Well, you can buy one for 32. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong column. Jeez, 32,000 is what it's going for. So that's up, what, 100x from where I bought it. So that was a good tip, Ron. I think I was intoxicated on that stream. I don't remember exactly. Um, but yeah, definitely worth buying. So all that is to say that I am bullish on Splinterlands. I am confident that the overall market sentiment in crypto will turn around and will if Bitcoin is 100,000, then nobody's going to be complaining about SPS prices, right? Because the entire crypto market will rise with that momentum. And but on top of that, the drastic cuts in inflation that we'll be seeing over the next few months with SPS, coupled with the increase in utility and the other sinks, as far as Rift Watchers is going to be SPS and vouchers only, as far as purchasing, and then all the lands and all that kind of stuff. I think things will be pretty nice if we come back a year from today. Um, but the downtimes are the times to accumulate. But it's very hard, for people to buy into a downtrend, or to not sell their airdrop, because it's like, well, things are just going down. Why should I keep it? You got to keep it in mind, that bigger picture. So short term, uh, short term, I think we will continue to see depressed prices in everything, in crypto and in Splinterlands. My card prices, I track those from season to season. I'm down like 48% from the November highs, and that's rough, right? Because that's a large number for me. But I have not sold anything either. In fact, I'm continuing to buy with my earnings, because the future is bright and the rental rewards are hard to beat anywhere. And Gib is saying, too invested, need more eggs in my bucket. Yeah, I mean, there is, you do want some diversification. You don't want to be 100% in any one thing, I don't think. But it's it's I don't know if you could hear my daughter there, but you want to be heavy enough.
Dinner's ready.
Okay. I'll be there in 1 second. All right, so apparently my dinner's ready, and so I'll just keep in mind that these are the times when the weak hands distribute to the strong hands, right? Or the impatient transfer to the patient. Yeah, apparently it is dinner time, and I guess we are actually at time anyway. So it is time for me to go. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you guys next week.